Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, CeeChronicles here. Welcome to my channel. I post fragrance related content on this platform, and if you're new and you like that style of content, please consider subscribing and joining this family. Now, to those who are already subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. I have top 3 fragrances from my favorite Middle Eastern houses. For now, I'm going to say for now, guys, because these houses keep dropping them and dropping them and dropping them. So to say this is the best ever would be misleading, okay? But before then, in fact, before then, let me say I am attending the Middle East Beauty Fair, which is happening next month, and I will meet all the Middle Eastern houses, guys. That is the good thing about it. And I had posted in my other video that if you would like to donate towards that trip, you can go ahead and do so through my PayPal donate link, which is on the interface of my YouTube page there. Just below my photograph, you're going to find a link there. If you would like to contribute anything at all towards that trip, then you can kindly follow prompts by clicking that PayPal donate link. Why I'm unable to reach out to these companies for donations, guys, is this is an independent channel, and if I ask a certain company to sponsor me, then it will mean that I'll be tied to that company, and then you would stop having independent reviews as I do now. Now, back to this video. I'm going to start with the House of Swiss Arabian, guys, and I have pulled 2 physically. The third one I no longer have, right? I love Royal Mystery from the House of Swiss Arabian. This is pear and freesia, as well as some rose. A very nice sweetened fragrance, vibing the same as English Pear and Freesia by Jo Malone, a fragrance that I do have in its original formulation. However, that one is underperforming. I find that this one is a vavavoom amped up style of version of that particular fragrance. So yes, it does make it on my top 3 Swiss Arabian favorites. The next one is going to be Shachaf Oud Asrach. But I have to caution you on this one. This is a mature scent, complex, sophisticated, exotic. It does have the woods, the spices. It does have a feel of a Middle Eastern tone there. Savory to an extent, does feel as though it has dried fruits, some cinnamon and all that. So this is not going to be for an inexperienced nose. You know, you may want to test this before you purchase it, but it is one of my favorites because of its uniqueness. The last one, which is the third one, is going to be that Shachaf Oud Tonka. I did feature it on this channel, but I no longer have it. And I'm going to insert a picture of myself holding or talking about it on the side of the screen there because we do have a full review of that one. But that's Shachaf Oud Tonka. They nailed that one, guys. It may be a fragrance that some of you guys turn anosmic to because it's very sweet, a very, very sweet waxy style of fragrance there with the almond doing the most, but the nutty almond there is quite soothing, very soothing in the Swiss Arabian style of, mix, how they mix their fragrances. So it kind of comes off as waxy and perfection. But I have realized that in some of the comments that I got off that review, some people were saying, oh, we can hardly smell this fragrance, but I just love the artistry in that fragrance. So those are going to be my top 3 from the House of Swiss Arabian. Shachaf Oud Asrach, which is this one, Royal Mystery, which is this one, and Shachaf Oud Tonka, which I no longer have. Now, zooming on to the House of Latafa. Now, Latafa is throwing fragrances left, right and center to us, guys. We haven't even processed that Yara candy. They have Angham, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the one that draws inspiration from Burberry Goddess. I still haven't had my nose on it. And now they have dropped hers and his Confession, not to mention whatever it is that they're brewing in the factory. But I decided to draw these ones, guys, as my favorites for now. I'm going to tell you the third in a minute. Latafa Eclair nailed it. I cannot fault this fragrance. I think for the year 2024, this is an absolutely amazing fragrance. If you love your caramel, if you love your praline, if you love your yummy, milky, gourmand, creamy style of fragrances, you're gonna love this one. And then Latafa Sir. Now, Latafa Sir I love not because of its gigantic look or because it's a new release. I love this because this gives me a perfect starter Middle Eastern style fragrance vibe, if you know what I mean. You get the woods in here, you get the nutty almond in here, you're going to get the cherry as well and stuff, but the woods and everything are not guarded, but they're not so pushy as some of the Middle Eastern fragrances that you get there from the House of Latafa. So this kind of feels like a perfect balance of, say you wanted an induction into Middle Eastern fragrances, you're probably going to work around it if this one was the first one you ever bought. So I love Latafa Sir, guys, not because of its presentation and this gigantic look, but because I think it's a nicely done fragrance. The third one I know that I am hunting. It's not yet in my country. It's not yet on the UAE website, but it has dropped in the USA, is that confession. And let me tell you something. In as much as Latafa does not reach out a lot to fragrance influencers like ourselves, to social media personalities, or people who are into fragrance reviewing that much, I think somebody in their marketing department does listen. I'm going to pull a little clip from a video I did with Ajwa, which was 4 months ago, somewhere thereabout, where Ajwa asked me flat out if there is the next, if there is a fragrance that you would like the Middle Eastern houses to clone next, what would it be? And I said Blanche Betty. I'm waiting for a Blanche Betty clone, and my guess is it's probably going to come from Paris Corner, but if Latafa can do it, I will appreciate that, because I really do love my Latafas. Trust me, these houses watch. They don't comment, they watch. You'll see the differences in future. You'll see the direction that some of these houses take. And in as much as I haven't smelled that her confession, it has gone around as smelling a lot like Blanche Betty. I don't have it, guys, but I love Blanche Betty. It's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And if they have given us an inspiration of that, or you know, anything that smells similar to that, I'm certainly gonna love it. So I reserved number 3 spot on the Latafa favorites for that, her confession, hoping that it's going to be a 101, not a twist or anything like that, because if it's a twist, maybe it's going to have elements that I do not like. So didn't include that other one, as it Angham or something, that draws inspiration from Burberry Goddess, because I just am going to give that one to Maison Alhambra for having given us that Athena, and obviously at a reasonable price. So I didn't feel the need to add that one as a prospective favorite or an incoming favorite, if you know what I mean. From the house of Kadlash, Empire Victor, they outdid themselves. Guys, Kadlash, if you can come up with something better than this, I'm waiting. I am waiting. Empire Victor is beautiful, guys. If you're having a problem with your Empire Victor, you probably have an old formulation. Kadlash simply outdid themselves. This is one of the most beautiful vanilla fragrances on the market. It is gourmand, but it is wearable even by men. There's a bananery accord in this. There's a lemon that you're going to get as well. Creamy feel of a fragrance. You cannot fault Empire Victor. And I'm going to take nothing away from Harim Al Sultan, because I think it is one fragrance that did put Kadlash on the spotlight there. A lot of TikTokers went to town with this Harim Al Sultan, the oil, to an extent that Kadlash itself did respond by giving us the perfume. I'm not particularly a fan of the perfume, because I feel the oil is still a little bit better to my nose. Better, sweeter, more pronounced and more projecting and loud than this. I find this one is subtle. Maybe it's because mine hasn't really macerated, if you know what I mean. But if you have a problem with the oil, I'm still going to say get this one, because it's just a continuation of the same thing, except that it is, of course, the perfume version. And the third favorite of mine from the house of Kadlash, guys, is going to be Infini Absolute. This is for men, to my nose, but I absolutely love this fragrance. And one thing I'm going to give it to Kadlash for this particular fragrance is they gave us time to enjoy it. Okay, they gave us time to process it, enjoy it, because the Middle Eastern fragrance houses, guys, keep giving us these fragrances. It's almost like we have an endless, like a bottomless supply of cash, where we can always be spending on fragrances. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a fragrance enthusiast. I love fragrances. I love to smell fragrances. You know, I love to play around with fragrances. I'd love a massive collection, but sometimes we need a little bit of a breather to kind of process these fragrances, you know, because for instance, I haven't even gotten my nose on that Yara Candy, and there is like 20 more. I don't know. Anyway, from the house of Kadlash is going to be Infini Absolute. It's also going to be, of course, Empire Victor and Harim Al Sultan. Those are going to be my top. Moving on to Paris Corner. Paris Corner outdid themselves in this particular fragrance. And I know these are mostly gourmands, and you guys would have figured it by now that I love gourmands. But this Vaux Patisserie Paris Corner, if you can do better than this, I don't know. I would simply just, I don't know. This is beautiful. It's a zesty, caramel, creamy, vanillin style of fragrance. Okay, drawing its inspiration from my Italic. I have fragrance that on its own is a heavyweight, and Paris Corner decided to give it to us there, and it was a pleasant surprise. More so that, Italica is almost like Lira, like not in the same, not vibing like Lira, but the demand for Italica is almost like Lira. The number of times I have people dropping in my comment section whether I've smelt a Lira or come across anything that smells remotely like Lira and stuff. It's like this, that Paris Corner kind of listened and thought, let us give them something different, something unexpected, something that's going to wow them. So in as much as the Middle Eastern houses seem to be going, for the gourmands and listening to us in terms of which gourmands to go for, I'm going to give it to Paris Corner for this one, guys. Absolutely amazing. I love this fragrance. The next favorite from Paris Corner at the moment is going to be Bayan Al Asra. In as much as it doesn't really give me the nuttiness as concentrated as that Amouage Guidance, I do feel that this is one of their best out there. It's going to give you a serving of that juicy pear, a fresh rose, some pink pepper, some hazelnut, and just beautifully done. A little bit of freshness, a little bit of floralness, a little bit of nuttiness, that sort of thing. So Bayan Asra, kudos to Paris Corner. And then, of course, my latest favorite is going to be Sweet Surrender. It might come across as just a broken record to a lot of people, but this fragrance just drew me in. I love this fragrance, okay? And I know that I am going to quickly replace this one with Another Love, simply because it's not a new DNA. It goes after that Eilish, but I simply love the sweetness in it. It's just a warm, easy, rich style of fragrance that you really don't need to think of, when you want to wear this. So these are going to be my top 3 favorites from the House of Paris Corner. But again, Paris Corner is on the roll. I know for a fact that if Apple Teeny comes here, I'm going to absolutely love it, because I love Killian's Apple Brandy. So I know I'm absolutely going to fall in love with that. And they have just dropped another one called Radiant Roses, if I'm not mistaken. It comes in that Oriana style of color presentation, and I think it is maybe drawing inspiration from Oriana. Don't quote me on this, but I think it does draw inspiration from Oriana, because they do have another one in a similar bottle, but a lightly colored bottle, and that one smells a lot like Delina. So maybe they have decided to give us those inspirations in those bottles. But so I know for a fact that when I do get Apple Teeny, and probably that Radiant Roses is going to maybe replace especially this one. As for Bayan Al Asra and my patisserie, leave those ones alone. Okay, so those are going to be my top 3 from the House of Paris Corner. Next up, let me just show you these from the House of Amaf, right? The one that's missing here is the Club de Nuit Oud. I love the oud one, but it's not for everybody. And I have a full review of that particular fragrance, guys. That fragrance is no longer in my collection, but I absolutely love that fragrance, because if you're looking for that one a month, right, that's going to do it for you in terms of lasting till the next week, okay, that Club de Nuit Oud is beautiful. It's a passion fruity style of fragrance, going to give you a little bit of herbe pura without being herbe pura, complex. Got the oud, but the oud is refined. It's got the woods and stuff. But anyway, back to the ones I have physically. These 2 guys will still remain my top favorites from the House of Amaf until, of course, I get that Precious. Is it Precious? Because they're spelling it not like precious, but it's like Precious or something. Until I get my hands on that line, then maybe it's going to outperform these ones. But Club de Nuit Intense Women, if you're looking for a fragrance that's not going to disappoint you from Amaf, this is a certain recommendation. And of course, Imperial drawing its inspiration from that Talina exclusive. So those would be my 3 favorites, in as much as one is a missing. And then I have one from Our Tanya, because I just had to give Our Tanya its flowers. Nadine, this is their rendition, guys, on Sintra by Mimo, and you won't believe the price. What you're gonna get for the price and the quality of this fragrance is going to shock you. So unfortunately, because I haven't explored the house that much to bring you 3, I didn't want to push it and just bring you 3 for the sake of bringing you 3. I just had to clue you up that if you haven't got this, try to get your hands on this. Just like this one, just like my Ajmal. Okay, I just decided to pull one Ajmal, but I've got 2 favorites, right? This particular Ajmal, which is the Evoke Her, you can't beat this one. If you don't have this one in your collection, try to sniff it or something. But you've got to love mossy fragrances, powdery fragrances, grown fragrances, that style of thing. The next one I wanted to just clue you up on, I'm going to put a picture. One thing that's standing between myself and that perfume is the price. Musk Cur. musk of their fancy line, you know, that one that comes with those nice bottles and whatever, but you will see the price that, ooh, this is not your mainstream Ajmal. The price is just going to tell you that this is not your mainstream Ajmal, because those ones are upwards of 100, even closing on 180, somewhere thereabout, depending on where you get them from. I sniffed that one in a duty-free shop, guys. Talk of a mossy, musky, profound, complex, unique scent. Musk Kerr has to come home at some point. So from the house of Ajmal, these are going to be my two favorites. Okay, I don't have a third one, and I'm not going to force myself to have a third one. From the house of Maison Alhambra, guys, kudos. What can I say? You know, I looked at my entire Maison Alhambra collection and I said, there is nothing that beats this. Forget it, Cecilia. Forget it, Athena. And I'm going to give it to Maison Alhambra because of the price point. I know Lattafa has dropped Angham, and Angham is going around as smelling as well like Burberry Goddess, but Lattafa seems to have switched it up on the prices there. And I know Maison Alhambra is their subsidiary, so it's not like I'm suffering a memory loss. I know it's their subsidiary, but this is like their budget line, you know, the Maison Alhambra one. And thank you, Lattafa, for giving us the option to choose. You know, I will sniff Angham. If the price goes down, I will certainly purchase it because I love the Burberry Goddess DNA. I hope it's not a twist. If it is, then maybe I will need it for that. But back to Maison Alhambra, this topped it all. And then I just had to maybe just give a little bit of some flowers to the Montaigne Cocoa. But disclaimer, guys, this is not going to be for everybody because this is coconut and some vanilla. So the coconut can come off as a little bit pushy there for some people. But I think when it comes to these two from Maison Alhambra, kudos. I love these two, especially this one. Especially last house is obviously going to be that of Arabiat. I'm still tiptoeing into the Arabiats, but I had to give what I have its flowers, which is Lamsat Air as well as Berry Musk, right? It's a nice fruity, musky scent. Okay, not sophisticated or anything, but it's nice, it's okay. But don't compare it to Fenty. Just a heads up there, don't compare it to Fenty. If you're looking at it on its own, not bad. And then there's Lamsat Era, their rendition or twist on Amani C. There is some depth to this that makes it cross over or make it cross past the regular C. So this is probably going after the Intense or something like that, because there is like a syrupy, sweet, sticky thingy that you're gonna get in this fragrance that makes me think that the fruitiness here kind of feels as though it's pushing it towards not that regular C, but an extension of the C, which could be the Intense, and of course that collar kick that I was talking about. Another one that's going to shock you in terms of price. So if you're looking to buy something that's going to be affordable but make you smell good, then yes, I had to give it to this one as a favorite of mine for now, from the house of Arabi. So that's it, guys. Those are the fragrances that I have for you. I could have come with a lot more. I mean, there's F.A. Paris, this fragrance world itself and all that, but I'm trying to make sure that my videos don't take an eternity, guys, because they're killing me when it comes to editing. And I know it is the ones that have a lot of fragrances that you love to sit through and watch, and those are the ones that get the better views, but they kill me in terms of editing. So I'm going to leave it at this for now. Once I get her confession from Lattafa, I'm going to bring it here and compare it with Blanche Betty. If they nail that one, then it's going to definitely be one of my favorites for the year 2024. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys, while you're at it. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.